And every
Every
week they
week?
watch them come back and talk about Grown Ups 2. And they did something like 100 episodes or something crazy like that.
I don't even think with drugs that would be
They
possible.
eventually
Maybe.
stopped, but yeah. But yeah, that podcast exists.
I mean, it's the worst
Yeah.
idea ever. Uh, I could definitely see that how that would work,
But if you
but
can do that with Grown Ups too, man, you could fill like years with Twin Peaks.
oh my god, yeah, just not nonstop. But see, you have to be able to talk about things in a certain way to keep them interesting. I don't know how you do that week
Well,
over
you
week.
overanalyze each segment. We're analyzing the first 10 minutes of the first episode of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's like people that do paint by number or put on patience for that. But basically, I'm just like, I like it. Prove me wrong. And you can't because I said I like it. So you can never prove me
No, you
wrong
just
on what
have.
I
I
didn't
mean, you
like.
have multiple people on the podcast. Everyone has their theory about what's happening, what what this actually means, what they think the author's intent was, all that shit. You spend forever on that shit. There's probably
Yeah.
college classes on the overanalyzation of Twin Peaks.
What I want to know, what I want to learn from David Lynch is just how you shoot things in that, especially like Mulholland Drive. I mean, all his movies. I love that color palette that he's shooting in. It's really fucking cool how he puts those scenes together.
Yeah,
Uh, in the mosaic of colors that are
I think he just
involved.
uses. I think he usually uses just a lot of primary colors. There's
Yeah, but it looks
Yeah, well,
cool. It always
yeah,
looks.
well, he uses it in contrast. So there's not like a blending of things, so like everything contrasts and stands out because it's
Yeah,
just he's using primary colors. That's like Kubrick did the same thing.
yeah. I like his movies too.
Um,
That's the thing about well, I'll just talk about Lynch is like I know he's like really popular in France
yeah,
because he's just oddball and they like that kind of stuff over there. But he's really popular. I mean, he's popular enough that everyone knows who he is, and everything he touches maybe doesn't turn to gold, but it always
yeah,
resonates. I like how it's like some people act like, oh, he's an obscure genius that no one understands. It's like, no, everyone's seen his movies, at least one of them. And some like him, some don't.
Well, it's like I was like looking at stuff, and I was watching someone review, or they did the review on the Red Letter Media guys. If you don't know who they are, look them up on YouTube. They're pretty good. Uh,
Okay.
they're doing a review of Fire Walk with Me, and like I guess I didn't realize like I mean I expected that wasn't necessarily like a box office smash, but I guess also critics hated it too. I mean,
Yeah.
and then you watch that movie now, and there's so many things like, oh man, this scene is so cool, and there's just all this shit that like only this movie has, and no one has bothered to replicate it, and I wish more things had it.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Because I remember that movie not. Well, 'cause I remember the ending of Twin Peaks, the second season, pissed a lot of people off. And then that movie came out, because I think the movie came out, what, 93,
Yeah.
92. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is finally going to answer all the questions. It's like, oh, no. It's going to create
Well, I
more.
mean, it
Um,
actually, I mean, they kind of answered all the questions in by episode 9 of season 2, and this just kind of like plays out all the things that you were told happened but didn't see.
yeah. Because actually, Laura Palmer's alive.
Yeah, you
Uh,
get to see her. And also, like, they just kind of casually mention, like, it's like, hey, yeah, Bob's been molesting her and kills her. It's like, oh yeah, Bob's her dad, so her dad has been molesting her and kills her, and it's like that's kind of fucked up. But they just like you don't realize it until you think about it, like, and it's just kind of like, oh, and that's the end of that episode. And then on to the next thing.
Other memorable thing in Fire Walk with Me was speaking of the dad. Was remember when he's in that big convertible and he's freaking out in traffic, just gunning the
Yeah.
engine like crazy. Yeah, that was a weird scene. I mean, just because the guy turns around and points at him, and he just starts going crazy in the car.
I was starting to realize, you know that Chris Isaac video, Wicked Game.
Was that directed by
Yes,
Lynch? Yeah, figured. It
it's
looks
like one of
like
the
it.
most like famous music videos of all time. It's just David Lynch.